Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, Senior Leader Manish Sisodia, and other party leaders staged a sit-in protest today at Firoz Shah Road in New Delhi, and they were stopped from marching towards the Prime Minister's residence over the E20 fuel issue. Now, addressing a sit-in protest against the E20 fuel, Kejriwal alleged that the Modi government was importing ethanol from the US under pressure from President Donald Trump. He claimed that US is the world's largest ethanol producer, had pressured India to buy the fuel. Kejriwal also alleged that America's waste was being imposed on millions of Indian vehicles. He said a movement bigger than the NEET protests would be needed to stop the E20 policy and urged the people to join the campaign, asserting that the party's fight against the policy would continue. What I have read just in the last four lines, that Arvind Kejriwal saying that a bigger movement than the NEET protests would be needed to stop the E20 policy and has urged the people to join the campaign actually brings us to the question of the insecurity angle. Now, what we've seen in the past, Rahul Gandhi was allowed to protest outside the PM residence. Rahul Gandhi's Chhatron Ki Goonj program has got a huge acclaim. It's quite popular with the NEET protesters and the student protesters. And now Arvind Kejriwal saying that the E20 protests have to become bigger than NEET protests brings us to the question that is Kejriwal getting insecure of Rahul Gandhi? Was Kejriwal failing to appropriate the student protest? Because many times his pictures were seen along with the student protesters at Jantar Mantar, and many people started writing on the social media that the student protesters do not need a political party to own them. That's what the optics played out earlier. So, is Arvind Kejriwal now trying to own up the E20 protests in comparison to the NEET protests, where Congress seems to have walked away with the limelight? So, is there an insecurity, a sense of insecurity born out of Rahul Gandhi's success over the Chhatron Ki Goonj program and also the student protesters? Joining me this evening is Javed Ansari, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much, Javed sir, for joining. We have Dr. Akash C. Puni, political analyst and author. He was an Aam Aadmi Party supporter earlier. Thank you so much for joining. We have Siddharth Sharma, independent media analyst. And we also have Mr. B.S. Vora, environmentalist. Thank you so much, Mr. Vora, for joining. And let me begin with Javed Ansari. Javed, why did Arvind Kejriwal choose to say that we need a bigger protest on E20, a bigger than the NEET protests? Was it born out of insecurity against Rahul Gandhi?
Well, it's a bit of both. When he says that we need a bigger protest, he means you need to build sufficient pressure. Without going into the merits of the issue, the fact is that not enough pressure, or the pressure that has been generated so far is nowhere near what happened at the time of the CJP protest. And we all know that Mr. Pradhan, even in the face of such mounting pressure, the government tried to hang on to Mr. Pradhan till the very last moment. And when there were no avenues left, they were left with no options. They had to yield and ask Mr. Pradhan to go, or persuade Mr. Pradhan to tender his resignation. Right now, there's not enough pressure on the ethanol issue. And therefore, he's correct to a certain extent when he says that you need to generate more pressure and there needs to be a bigger movement. It also stems from the fact that he feels that he was upstaged. Mr. Digay, and as we all know, had close linkages with the Aam Aadmi Party, and the Aam Aadmi Party was hoping to ride piggyback on the and take control after some time of this movement. Rahul Gandhi Rahul Gandhi ultimately upstaged him by taking this fight right to the doorstep, right to the Prime Minister's doorstep. So in public perception, Rahul Gandhi and CGP were the ones, while CGP provided their critical mass, Rahul Gandhi provided the political cutting edge. And therefore, if amongst political parties, he's the one who walked away with the honors. And therefore, Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party feel upset. If you remember, the very first night after Rahul's protest, Rahul Gandhi led protests in front of the Prime Minister's residence, Sanjay Singh went on air, went public, and he gave a statement saying that this was an attempt to divide the movement, etc., etc. So that's where Mr. Kejriwal is coming from.
All right. So you've quite clearly brought out the entire perspective. Now coming to Dr. Akash, Akash, what do you feel is why this big hullabaloo on the E20 aspect? I'm interested to know from you about the politics, the way it is happening. Is it unfolding as NEET protest versus the E20 protest? I'll go into the merits of the E20 protest with Mr. Vora. But how do you see the politics of Arvind Kejriwal? Is this born out of insecurity? Does he feel the need to appropriate the E20 protest? And that's why he said that he needs a bigger movement than the NEET protest on E20?
See, the politics is really interesting regarding the E20 protest. Now, the issue of E20 has not been taken up by the Congress party much. And we all know that E20 issue affects the middle class of this country. Now, Arvind Kejriwal, through this protest, wants to capture that particular sentiment of and get back his lost ground. We all know that after becoming the Delhi chief minister for such a long time, many people have thought that he has forgotten the street fight. He was a street fighter. So he came, his politics was from the street. Dharne pe, there are many memes regarding it. So it may be that by this particular protest, he wants to get back his lost street fighter image. We have seen that after losing Delhi, he has been in background for some time. It's for the first time that he has taken on such protests. And also, it all started with the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, when he went to the prime minister's residence. So nobody thought that he will be taking the limelight. The party thought that they will be piggybacking on CJP, but it did not happen. E20, they want to get back the lost ground, but also that's good because yes, E20 has affected the middle class. Yes, the government has taken few steps without consulting the people, and people are facing difficulties. And if an opposition party is doing it, that's great. It's good for the democracy.
So you're saying that he's trying to reclaim his lost territory and lost territory of a street fighter, which he has thrived on in the last few years. Coming to Siddharth, what do you feel is the politics around this E20? Is this born out of insecurity? Is this born out of a sense of urgency? Because the fact of the matter is that there have been complaints from so many vehicle owners about the blended ethanol. So, and of course, the talking point is that the way Rahul appropriated the student protests along with the CJP, Arvind Kejriwal could not. Yes, Siddharth. Just unmute yourself. Siddharth, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, politics will be around us and politicians will try to appropriate things, so that's a given. But the fact here is that what the Gen Z cockroaches have proven in the last 1 month or so is that when an particular issue is raised, irrespective of how politicians behave, which party supports or doesn't support it, people tend to support those kind of mass movements because the issue here would be very right. So it's not about politicians doing certain things. Sometimes it's not just politicians who set the agendas. Sometimes people also set the agendas and politicians piggyback or dogtail that agenda. I think just like Akash said, this issue of E20 is a public issue. The very fact that today Kejriwal said that E20 movement needs to be on a neat scale is signal enough that it's a public issue rather than individuals. A very simple fact is that dalda is always cheaper than ghee simply because dalda is a mix while while ghee is very pure. So E20 petrol, which is 20% less petrol, means E20 has to be cheaper than the rupees 100 that we are getting right now. It has to be down to around rupees 84. So here we need to understand the implications. It's not about Kejriwal or Rahul Gandhi appropriating or not appropriating it. This is a BJP government totally surrendering to Mr. Trump. How it is surrendering? Because there are two different governments here with merging interests, yet adversarial to each other, each country's farmers. First of all, India. India is more people and less land, because that's why we grow food for we do agriculture for food. On the other hand, there is USA, which has more land and less people. They do agriculture for profit. So let's see India first. 30 crore vehicles today, from Mercedes Benzes to second-hand scooties manufactured before 2023, cannot handle E20 petrol. They can handle only pure petrol or E10, maximum E10. This is putting E20 in them is like serving sugarcane juice in a diabetes hospital. Basically, it's going to be fatal. Now, cut to, this is the interesting part. Cut to 13th February 2025. India and USA, there's a joint declaration in the White House that is available on the White House website. It's very clearly says USA will become India's largest energy supplier. Now, India's biggest energy need is petrol. Every family, rupees 12,000 worth of per year we spend on petrol, even if I don't have a vehicle. Okay, even if somebody doesn't own a vehicle, per capita, per year, per household, and a petrol expenditure on an Indian family is 12,000 bucks. Now cut to USA demography. 6 lakh USA farmers in the American Midwest Corn Belt. It is called as Corn Belt, 12 states. Total 900 lakh acres of land. Per farm, per agricultural land holding around 300 acres size. Many farms also having shale oil inside them. So what happens is USA corn is not for food but for profit. So corn plus oil in their own fields. What it means is that there is large ethanol cooperatives. That is nearly 60,000 ethanol cooperatives in the US Midwest. Such plants are there, and USA has today become world's biggest ethanol producer. That is 55%. And ethanol, and in 2007, this farm lobby in the US came up with an ethanol mandate that the US will shift to E10. That is not E20, okay, E10. That at least half of their corn produced, half of the ethanol produced in the USA would be domestically used. Now, what about the rest of the half? USA is using E10. Now, even USA is not using E20. Okay, and E20 today across the world, most of the vehicles we drive today are maybe Japanese made, or maybe Korean made, or maybe Indian made, or maybe German made, or maybe French made, or USA made, or Britain made. These are the 5-6 countries from where Italian made. These are the 6-7 countries from which none of these countries who mass produce vehicles, be it two-wheelers or four-wheelers, be it Suzuki of Japan, or Hyundai of Korea, or Mercedes Benz of Germany, or MG of England, or Ford of America, produced E20 vehicles before 2023. So what essentially it means is that India is buying ethanol from USA under that pressurized trade deal. And how much is it buying every year? Every year, more and more ethanol India is buying from the US. And this is exactly what the point is. The point is not about Kejriwal or Rahul Gandhi or appropriation by some political party. The question here is that how come India is buying costlier ethanol from, okay, ethanol is costlier than petrol. So you are mixing petrol with costlier ethanol and then saying we are saving foreign currency. You're not saving foreign currency, because petrol today is cheaper than getting ethanol from USA, at least 20 rupees per liter costlier. So it's basically a question here that the Modi government, the BJP government has totally surrendered to Mr. Trump. According to that, not just the trade deal is still not operational. But on February 13th, 2025, according to the White House joint declaration and signed by both the top leaders, it says that America will become India's biggest energy provider. That means that India is today forced to make changes, policy changes, where 30 crore vehicles today, which are not E20 compliant, are being forced to drink E20. And the demand here from anybody, any sane person, this is not just about Kejriwal, any person, is that when I go to a petrol bunk, why don't you offer me E10 or pure petrol also as an option? Because if my vehicle, 30 crore vehicles are not E20 compliant, I can at least buy E10 petrol or pure petrol. It is like asking a diabetic patient to forcibly drink only sugarcane juice and not giving him water. You say no, no, you cannot drink water. You will have to only drink sugarcane juice. So that's a very bad choice that is being given. So the point here, I think, is BJP's abject surrender to Trump more than anything else, and this entire E20 policy is because of that abject surrender.
Right. Now, let me come to Mr. Vora and ask him about this E20 policy. Does it suit the Indian landscape? Because these reports coming in, and Arvind Kejriwal also pointed that, there's because Prime Minister Modi seems to have surrendered before Donald Trump, and which is why all this ethanol waste is coming to India. How much merit is there in this particular argument? I think let's hear this bite of Arvind Kejriwal, and then I'll come to you again. Yes, just amplify that bite, please.
कहना चाहते हैं कि ट्रम्प के दबाव में मोदी जी ना आए, ट्रम्प का दबाव में आके इथेनॉल यूएसए से खरीदना बंद करें और हमारे देश में E20 थोपना बंद करें। अभी क्या प्लान है? अभी यहाँ बैठे हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं। मुझे उम्मीद है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी बुलाएंगे। वहाँ जाने के लिए तो पूरी बैरिकेडिंग लगी हुई है, आप लोग कुछ जाने की कोशिश करेंगे? देखते हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जी को मैसेज भेजा है कि हम मिलना चाहते हैं। आपकी प्रोटेस्ट का क्या होने वाला है गवर्नमेंट का, आपको लग रहा है? देखते हैं, उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है, संघर्ष जारी रहेगा। पेट्रोल के साथ सुनने का डीजल को भी अब करेंगे।
Okay, so you can hear Arvind Kejriwal saying that he's waiting for the Prime Minister to. Right. So there is what you heard from Arvind Kejriwal was that Arvind Kejriwal is saying that we have sent a message. We want to meet the Prime Minister. What we are told is that some 230,000 signed petitions all these Aam Aadmi Party leaders were carrying. And what they are simply saying is that America is trying to impose the usage of E20 in India. Now, coming to you, Mr. Vora, how do you really see this issue which has been picked up by Aam Aadmi Party? That is this some kind of an imposition you see on India? Because there have been many complaints regarding E20.
Neeluji, first of all, I will say that after Anna Hazare, it is the CJP that has given a big jolt to almost all the political parties, all the leaders, and that's the result that we will keep viewing such kind of protests in the coming days too. Right. Secondly, coming to the E20, the purpose of E20 was not bad. The purpose was to check the import of crude oil, to save the Indian foreign currency so that our stability could improve, as well to find the alternate source of fuel. The purpose is not bad, but the problem is the issues that we are facing. Some of us have mileage problem, maintenance problem, then we have the compatibility problem. Definitely it's a major issue. So some of the vehicles that have been built in the recent past, they are compatible with E20, but most of the vehicles that are older ones, they are not at all compatible. They are not suitable to E20. So somewhere or else, government must listen to it, government must think of it, and must offer a clean petrol, a normal petrol to the public, at least to the those vehicles that are not compatible to E20, and then wait for some time, have some discussions, have some transparent discussion talks with all the concerned, maybe the automobile manufacturers, maybe the experts, technical experts, refinery experts, consumers, to find out the changes or modifications that must be brought into E20 to give a better product, a better option to the consumers, or maybe it may take some time. It may take few more years. In that time, maybe the old vehicles are phased out and new vehicles are there in more number in the market, in the on the roads. So it's not a bad policy, but the politics being played nowadays, it will keep continuing. Just yesterday, a day ago, we had heard that Manmohan Singh was freed of all the charges after so many years from the Colgate scam. So blame करना तो चलता ही रहेगा. This is a part of politics. This is a part of democracy. ये सब तो चलता रहेगा, continue रहेगा. एक पार्टी दूसरे को blame करेगी, दूसरी तीसरे को blame करेगी. This is part of the game. But the truth is that E20 policy is not bad, but the product is not yet suitable to our Indian market, Indian roads, Indian vehicles, and a suitable option must be found out. so that E20 type of alternate fuel, maybe it's E20, E10, E5, E15, what it may be, an alternative fuel is there which can serve the purpose, which can drop our dependence from the imported crude, which can improve our Atmanirbharta. और उसके बाद we will see what's the outcome, but it will take some years. We can't say at the very first day that E20 is the only option. That's technically wrong. Government must offer normal petrol to all the vehicles that are not compatible so that they can at least fly on the road. रात को चलते हुए सड़क पे गाड़ी बंद हो जाए तो बंदा क्या करेगा? अगर कार में कीड़ियां चढ़ रही हैं तो बंदा क्या करेगा? Government must give it a serious thought, must have serious discussions with all the experts and then come to some conclusion. I won't say it's a bad policy, but definitely it needs some
Then
changes,
should
some
it be rolled back?
modification.
What is your suggestion, Mr. Vora? Should it be rolled back? Because that's what
No,
Arvind Kejriwal has also demanded.
so that's mere politics. I will never say to roll back the policy. It needs some modifications, alteration, changes. A new product may come out in any shape. It may be 20, 30, 15, 5, E0, whatever it may be. Some modifications, some changes are desired. And after that, when a final output comes, only then we can think it's suitable for us or not yet. And at that time, maybe after 2, 3, 4 years, we will come to the conclusion that it should be rolled out or not rolled out.
Okay, so you are saying that rather than rolling it out completely, bring out, modify it, and then make it suitable for the vehicle owners. Now, coming to the
We,
politics part of it, I'll come to Siddharth now. Siddharth, what do you feel? Can these E20 protests of Arvind Kejriwal overshadow the student protests by Rahul Gandhi and CJP?
Well, I think Arvind Kejriwal himself said today that this has to go on the scale of NEET. And I think before me, the panelist, senior panelist also said that this needs to go a large scale up. It has to go manifold scales up. I think what happened today was kind of trigger. It was covered across India, not just across India, even Reuters, etc., covered it. So there is a trigger here. The trigger not being a leader taking up an issue, the trigger here being 30 crore people being having to face difficulty. When you say having to face difficulty, it means that in the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, in the Parliament, when a specific question was asked of the government also accepted that yes, using E20 fuel on non-E20 compliant vehicles leads to droppage of mileage till around 9 to 10%. It also says that it damages parts like rubber parts. It's not about damaging which part it is getting damaged. The whole point is that a person buys a vehicle not to spend on it on repairs. Okay, a person wants to buy a vehicle to use it, not to spend on it.
But
And
there's
mileage is
another
a
thing,
very
Siddharth, like Arvind Kejriwal said that more and more people should join the protest. Now, is Aam Aadmi Party going to take up this issue in a big way? What is the plan? What do you sense? That is Arvind Kejriwal will be going national on this issue and asking the people to join this movement. What does it mean? Will it be almost on the lines of what CJP did with the issue of the students?
Well, what we saw during this cockroach movement was very clear. It was some movements, as I said earlier in my opening statement, most of the times politicians as well as political analysts try to think that it's the politicians who set the agenda and the people dictate it. But sometimes there are black swan events where people start dictating the agenda and politicians have to follow it. Simple example being 6 years ago, a small virus called coronavirus came and nobody even knew what that virus is, and the entire government sector had to dovetail according to that virus's behavior. So we can't say. The point here, again, I'm trying to make is not that what politicians will do. Obviously, any politician, nothing wrong in any politician trying to join a cause. Isn't it right that during the Jantar Mantar protests of Cockroach Janata Party for the NEET examination, isn't it very clear that there were only two political party leaders who did not personally visit that place? All the regional party leaders, be it Aditya Thackeray or Mamata Banerjee or Stalin, most of the Akhilesh Yadav, all the people visited Jantar Mantar to show support and solidarity. Only two political party heads did not go there. Neither anybody from the Congress went there, neither anybody from the BJP went there. But does that mean that they did not support it? It doesn't mean so. Does that mean that they had totally appropriated it? Doesn't mean so. it was a collective effort. I think the issue there during the NEET issue was the issue was bigger than any political party or the leader leading it. It's not about individuals anymore. I think what Gen Z has shown today is that it's not about individuals anymore. At least in the last 2 or 3 years, twice it has happened. In India, there was a huge farmers' movement in which 700 farmers laid down their lives. And the government of India had to take back those farm laws. Can you name any single leader coming out of that farm movement? No. But whether that farm movement was success or not, obviously it was a success because the government had to take down. The same with this cockroach movement regarding NEET. The demand for Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, did the government yield to it? Did the government surrender to it? Yes. Can you today name one political leader or once any leader coming out of it saying that he led it? No, you cannot. But this did not used to happen earlier. If you see earlier precedences during the freedom movement, there were people like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose who were, as an individual, seen as the leader of the Indian National Army. There was Bhagat Singh, who was seen as an individual leader. There was Gandhiji, who was seen as an individual leader. Then we had emergency in which Jayaprakash Narayan came up as an individual leader. Then we had the Mandir movement in 1992 where Lal Krishna Advani came up as an individual leader. Then we had an Anna Hazare movement, India Against Corruption movement in which Anna Hazare came up as a individual leader. But I think what changed was COVID-19, which made sure that you don't need individuals. There are certain issues which become so bigger, then it becomes collective. And I think the farm movement was an example where you cannot name a single leader coming out of it, but the farm movement was successful. The same with this NEET movement also. The NEET movement succeeded. There is no single leader coming out of it. I think the E20 issue is exactly the same. I think Vora sir, as an expert, has said it very nicely. It's not about E20 or not E20. It's about government giving an option. It's like you going into a mall and the mall saying that I, except for clear water, except for drinking water, I'm selling all the juices you want. But the mall, if it sells all kinds of juices, why can't it sell a bottle of water also? It has to sell a bottle of water also. So as pure petrol or E10 petrol that is compatible for 30 crore vehicles in India has to be made available in petrol bunks, whatever the rate is. And if the government is not doing that, if the government is forcibly asking you to buy only E20 petrol, that obviously the question would arise that why is the government forcing E20 on you? Is there a secret deal between the BJP and the Trump administration, where the Trump administration is dumping this ethanol on you, and that is why you are forced to sell E20? These kind of questions will come up. But basically, that is a more like a technical question. But the main question is going to be 30 crore vehicle users. It's like in a diabetic clinic, you're asking people to drink sugarcane juice day in and day out. It's going to be fatal. So that, I think that's going to be an issue. Now, how far it will raise up, how far this will manifest, how manifold it will grow, nobody knows, because mass movements, you cannot predict anything about mass movements. That one thing, nobody predicted that Gen Z people within 5 days from nowhere they would come up and make BJP government surrender to all the demands, not just one demand, not just Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, even to a new education policy in 30 days time, even to ensuring that no cases are filed against any of the protesters. Everything, basically everything that the Gen Z cockroaches asked for, the BJP surrendered to. And this is the same BJP which for the last 12 years has not agreed to anything. Even a small JPC in a parliament, they did not agree to it. When opposition asked for JPC, they made sure 150 of their opposition MPs were disqualified. They were made to sit out. So let us understand that mass movements, how they turn, when they turn, on what trigger they turn, nobody can say. But I think E20 is an issue which is a pain point for nearly 30 crore people. That is a true point. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let me take the concluding comments from Dr. Akash. Can these E20 protests overshadow Rahul Gandhi's protest on the students? Rahul Gandhi is holding another Chhatro Ki Goonj program now in Prayagraj, I think on 8th. Can Arvind Kejriwal really prop up that scale of a protest which was seen during the cockroach movement as far as this E20 is concerned?
See, the two protests cannot be compared. Rahul Gandhi is taking care of another issue. Arvind Kejriwal is taking care of another issue, and both are doing brilliantly in what they should do. But this particular E20 issue proved one thing: how the Indian governance system failed totally. And it's a very good example. You release one policy which is not ready for your consumers. It is clear that before 2023, the vehicles cannot take it. Why did you release it? Who approved it? Whosoever approved it in any civilized country, take starting from bureaucrats to the politicians, whosoever approved it should be fired, should be removed from employment altogether. But unfortunately, in India, we need an Arvind Kejriwal and a Tehsin Punawala to raise it because they both want to make their political careers. Now, this is democracy. Uh, Taking forward this discussion, I just want to know one thing. Will Arvind Kejriwal take it to the logical conclusion, like Sonam Wangchuk did? Then, fast until death, till Dharmendra Pradhan resigns. Will that happen with Arvind Kejriwal? That's a bigger question. If that happens, if he is sure to take this to the logical conclusion that till the its rollback, he will be on streets, then he can be a street fighter and the middle class can be again back to Aam Aadmi Party bastion. If he cannot, then people will know that where all stand.
Right. Today, I mean, the first day when we saw they were trying to march up to the Prime Minister's residence, they were not allowed to do so. And they had barricaded that area because it's a no protest zone around Prime Minister's residence. But he did say that we request all the people to come along. Now, what Aam Aadmi Party has not spelled out that what is going to be their further course of action, how many days of protest they will continue with, is it going to be like a pan India sort of a phenomena they will try and build? So things are not very clear at the moment, except for the fact that Arvind Kejriwal is trying to appropriate the protests on E20 just as CJP and Congress have appropriated the NEET protest. And the very fact that Arvind Kejriwal mentioned when he was giving a soundbite to the various news agencies, he said that this protest has to grow bigger than the NEET protest. So somewhere there is an insecurity angle as well, which Javed Ansari in his initial submission did point out. So, of course, it's a public issue. The political parties will have to raise, but it's also born out of a sense of insecurity as well. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Vora, for joining. Dr. Akashdeep, Siddharth, thank you very much for joining.